science expert and legendary author Ben Bova to talk about The Aftermath, an adventure story of conflict and hope in deep space. Hello, Dr. Bova.
It's nice to be here.
The Aftermath is part of your widely acclaimed Asteroid Wars sequence and included in a cycle of novels you call the Grand Tour.
The Asteroid Wars is sort of a slice of what happens in the region of the solar system called the asteroid belt. There are thousands of minor planets there, little chunks of rock, but they're very, very valuable. And corporations have gone to war over them because they are the bonanza of the 21st century. The Aftermath is the story of what happens when the shooting stops. There's a family whose ship has been destroyed. They're drifting out of the solar system. They're trying to stay alive and get back home. And it's really the saga of what happens to those people.
One of your main characters is a boy going kind of through puberty and
Yes.
becoming a man in this setting.
Well, his first and major challenge is to stay alive. Remember, he's in a spaceship. There's nothing between him and the vacuum of space but it's some thin metal walls. And the ship is breaking down. It's old, it's been damaged. This lad's first job is to stay alive, to keep the spacecraft functioning, to keep the equipment repaired well enough so that he and his mother and sister can survive.
You're an expert on science and space technology. What made you decide to write many of your novels in the science fiction genre?
Well, you know, when writers begin, their elders always say, write about what you know, write about what interests you. And I've worked a good part of my life with scientists. I worked with the man who figured out what makes the sun shine. I've worked with people who invented the first high-powered lasers. An awful lot of what goes into my fiction comes straight out of the real laboratories. I'm trying to show what it would be like, really, to be in space in the asteroid belt, 4 times farther from the sun than we are here on Earth. How do you build a spacecraft that can keep a family alive for years at a time? I've often said that my spaceships work a lot better than NASA's. but a lot of thought goes into the design of them and try to make them realistic so that the reader can believe that this is actually happening.
Can you tell us about the Asteroid Wars sequence?
The earlier novels in the Asteroid Wars series, the Precipice, the Rock Rats, and the Silent War, talk about these wars, these conflicts, both at the corporate boardroom level and out in space where people are fighting and killing each other. And the reason they're fighting is to control the enormous resources of the asteroid belt.
So where did you draw your inspiration for the Asteroid Wars and for the Aftermath in particular?
The human race has got to begin tapping the resources in space to make life sustainable here on Earth. And as we move industry and mining into space, we can stop tearing up the planet Earth. We can make Earth a residential zone. It's important that people understand what we can do and what our problems may be in the future. I think of science fiction writers as sort of scouts who are going out into the future and sending back reports to us. Tell us this is what you want to do, this is where you want to go. Or avoid this, it's a terrible trap. So I think science fiction is, in its way, the most realistic fiction being written today.
Dr. Bova, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Well, thank you, Tara. It's been a real pleasure.
Pulsing with intensity and action, The Aftermath by legendary author Ben Bova will draw readers in from the very first page.